Very good morning, everyone. Very warm regards from Amrit University, Greater Noida. Myself, Dr. Rohtash Singh, librarian, Amrit University, Greater Noida, welcomes you all in this lecture on practical approach to securities and investment market. This session is a comprehensive guide among ongoing trading instrument, their trading practices, pricing, techniques, and associated risks. Securities are the fundamental tools and products of investment banking. They can be broadly categorized into debt, including banknotes, bonds, debentures, equity, and derivative financial instruments that range from options and swaps to very complex and risky trading strategies. It is a multi-billionaire dollar business based on sophisticated financial models and pricing techniques. I would like to welcome all the panelists. That is Ms. Himani Lath, that is Manager NSDL, Ms. Nanu Kaur, AGM SEBI, Ms. Karishma Makkar, Assistant Manager MSEI, Dr. Shalini Srivastav, Associate Professor ACCF, Dr. Vikas Garg, HOD ACCF, Dr. Chiranji Lal, Additional Librarian, Amrit University, Greater Noida, and myself, Dr. Rohtash Singh. Let me take the profiles of our panelists. Dr. Shalini is the Professor of Finance under Amity College of Commerce and Finance, Amity University, Greater Noida. She is having 16 years of experience in teaching, research, and consultancy, and almost 3 years of corporate experience. During these years, she has played multifaceted role, being a teacher, trainer, mentor, counselor, and administrator as well. Her research areas are diverse and include financial management, financial services, investment management, project management, auditing, etc. Besides organizing the practicing a large number of conferences, seminars, workshops, and FDPs, she has published business cases and research papers in national and international journals and has been granted 14 copyrights. She is the life member of Indian Commerce Association and ICICI New Delhi. She is also serving as reviewer and advisory board member of various journals of international repute. She has bagged various awards in research. Wonderful thing is that she is also a blogger and loves to write articles on finance. Welcome, ma'am. Our first speaker, Ms. Himani Lath. She is the manager at NSDL, that is National Securities Depositories Limited, Delhi, and she's having 16 years of experience in capital market and MBA by profession. Welcome, Himani ma'am. Ms. Nanu Kaur, she is the Assistant General Manager at SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, New Delhi, posted at NRM, that is the Northern Regional Office at New Delhi, presently working in the Office of Investor Assistance and Education Department and Investment Management Department, Portfolio Management Services, associated with redressal of investor complaints against listed companies. Also worked in Market Regulation Department at Head Office Mumbai, Market Intermediaries Regulation and Supervision Department at NRO, Investment Management Department, Collective Investment Schemes and Deemed Public Issues. Welcome, ma'am. Our next speaker, Ms. Karishma Makkar. She is the Assistant Manager at MSEI, that is Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India, Delhi. By profession, she is Company Secretary and having more than 5 years of experience in secretarial and regulatory compliances. We also welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, may I request to Dr. Shalini Srivastava to take over the session, please, and to invite the first speaker of the session.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Now I request Himani ma'am to please take over the session and, guide us, our students, with your words of wisdom. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. A very good morning to all the students and faculty of Amity University. It is my pleasure to be a part of this event today. And we all know that Amity University has been always a pioneer in, informing the students about the latest updates, organizing such events. And this is not the first time that we are doing this event with Amity University. We have got very, very good responses all the time, and I hope this session will also be very informative to all of you. If you have any queries, any doubts, you can put it in the chat box at the last, when the sessions are over, and we'll be glad to take the queries. So I, Himani, on behalf of NSDL, welcome you all. Before I begin my session, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Chiranji Lal, who has helped me in organizing this event, and Dr. Shalini, Dr. Rotash Singh. We are coordinating for this event since many days, and now the day has come. So let's begin our presentation. I'm just keeping my video off, and just let me know, please, if you are able to see the presentation.
That's visible.
Fine. So let's start the session. So we are going to brief you about the Indian securities market. We have three different speakers from different fields who will explain you the complete part of the securities market. So I will be taking the session on the depository. So just as an introduction, I would like to explain that market regulator is SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, and all the other intermediaries like the stocks and commodity derivative exchanges, depositories, mutual funds, RTAs, investment advisors, they are all coming under the purview of SEBI. When you want to start investment in the securities market, you basically need to have three types of accounts. One is bank account, another is a trading or a broking account, and the third one is the demat account. So I'll explain one by one. Bank account, as we all know, it is open for the financial transactions. So anyone who wants to start investing in securities market, they can use their existing bank account also. No need to open a fresh bank account. Trading or a broking account is basically open for buying and selling of securities. Okay, you cannot directly go to the stock exchange. You need to approach a registered stockbroker for that purpose, and a trading and broking account is open for that purpose. Then when you buy securities, you need to hold them in the electronic form, like you hold your funds in the bank account. Same way you are holding securities in your demat account. Right now is you must have heard also that no physical transfer or movement of the securities is allowed anymore in the capital market. So every transaction needs to be routed through the demat account. There are depository participants, that is you can say our agents, or you can say our intermediaries through whom you can open an account. So like when you want to open a bank account, you do not approach RBI. Where you go, you visit a bank branch and open an account. So similarly, when you want to open a demat account, there are many DPs, depository participants, who are registered with NSDL. There you can open a demat account. NSDL was the first depository which was formed in 1996, and it is the world's largest depository. We are working through the network of depository participants which are across the country. Let's see this diagram. It will help you to understand how is the structure of capital market working. So you can see that NSDL, the depository, is in the center. The company which is making its shares available for demat is here. Then the clearing corporation, the brokers, the investors, all are electronically connected with NSDL. So the best advantage is that there are no geographical barriers anymore, and the transactions are happening instantly. Secondly, I would like to explain that in India, we are at a settlement cycle of T+2. So what is that? When you are buying or selling securities on, for example, Monday, then you are getting the settlement by Wednesday. So if you're buying securities on Monday, you will get the securities in your account on Wednesday. If you are selling securities on Monday, you will get the funds on Wednesday. So in India, we are at the T+2 settlement cycle. Now, when you want to open a demat account, what all services a depository participant is offering you? You can open an account, you can close an account, you can convert your physical securities in electronic form with the process is called dematerialization. Again, if you want to hold the securities in physical form, the process is called rematerialization. You can even convert and redeem your mutual fund units through the demat account. You can change your account details like your address, bank, signature, anything. You can freeze your account. That means if you do not wish to use it for a particular period, you can freeze that for the whole account or for particular ISIN. ISIN means any company's shares that you have got in your demat account. You can transfer your securities from one account to another account. So even the unlisted companies, that means the companies whose shares are not listed on stock exchange, can also be dematerialized and transferred from your demat account to another demat account. Also, since April 1, 2019, the physical transfer of the securities is not allowed anymore. What all documents are required for opening demat account? First thing is that PAN card. PAN card is the basic and foremost document which is required. Secondly, as a proof of ID and address, you need to give any of these documents, either Aadhaar, driving license, passport, or voter ID. And for the proof of bank, you have to give cancel check or a passbook or a statement. What all features are available in demat account? That means unique things that you can do in that, or the basic definition of a demat account, you can say. So minimum balance is not required. Like in a bank account, generally you need to maintain any balance, so here it is not required. Account can be opened for a minor also, but that needs to operated through a guardian. One person can have multiple demat accounts with the same or different DPs. Joint account can be operated, but that is not on either or survivor basis like a bank account is operated. So here all the joint holders have to give the instructions, sign all the documents collectively. Account cannot be opened on your behalf by stockbroker who's holding POA. So account opening and closing right is held with the account holder only. There is one important feature in the demat account called transposition cum demat account. Let's understand through an example. Suppose there are three holders in a physical certificate, A, B, and C. So there are different companies whose certificates you are holding. In some certificates, the sequence is ACB. In some securities, it is BAC. In some securities, it is BCA. So there are different combinations. So the foremost question comes to your mind: do I have to open these many accounts? No. The answer is you just need to open one single joint account in name of A, B, and C, and all these combination certificates can be converted here through a form called transposition form. So transposition literal meanings mean transfer of position. So by giving this form to your depository participant, you can get all the different companies shares in a joint account, singly operated, jointly operated, but a single account. So nomination is also a feature available in the demat account, though it's not mandatory, but it is recommended. Why it is recommended? Because these securities is an asset. So suppose the account holder dies, nominee is the person who will get all the securities in its name. So any individual can be a nominee. Minor NRI or PA holder can be nominated. Nominee can be added or changed at any point of time. In one single account, you can nominate three persons. So three persons with equal shares. No compulsion that nominee should have a demat account at the time of nomination, but at the time of death of the account holder, when the transmission process comes into picture, the demat account is required. So let's understand this transmission process also. So suppose there is a single account and there is nomination. Nominee will get very smoothly all the securities that are held in the demat account by simply giving a form. Now, if the nomination is not there, what process is available to the legal heirs? They have to provide a succession certificate, will, probate, letter of administration. It is a very time consuming process. Also, it involves cost. So generally, it has seen that, at the time of the death, the value of the holding is 10 lakhs. But by the time the legal heirs obtained these documents from the court, the value of the holding was, dropped down to 1 lakh, 2 lakh. So there was such a huge financial loss to the legal heirs. That is why it is always advisable to nominate in the demat account. If there is a joint account, the surviving holder will get the securities. If in the joint account nomination is there, nominee will get. If the nomination is not there, the legal heirs will get. Transmission come demat facility. So what is this facility? Sorry. Transmission facility is the come demat facility is the facility available to the holders, joint holders in the physical form. Like for example, if there are joint holders A and B and A has died, what will B do? B will open a demat account in the single name, provide the death certificate and transmission request to the DP, and this certificate, which would be having the name of A and B or B and A, can be converted into demat account of B. Basic services demat account. This type of account actually helps you to save the annual maintenance cost. Okay, so it's like a regular account only, but it cannot be the one person cannot have multiple BSD account and can have one single account across both the depositories. So we all know that there are two depositories. One is NSDL, another is CDSL. Now, what is the basic criteria? So, if you have securities up to 1.50 lakhs, that means the total value of securities in your demat account, if it is up to 1.50 lakh, you don't need to pay any AMC, annual maintenance charges to the DP. If the value of holding is up to 4 lakhs, maximum 100 rupees you have to pay. And any time if it goes 4 lakhs, because you know that market is fluctuating, so the value is going up and down. So any time if it goes over 4 lakhs, as per the regular account like 500, 600, whatever the DP's charges, that you need to pay. Closure and shifting of demat account is also possible. If you just simply want to close it, so what you need to do, you need to give a closure request and you have to make sure that there is no balance lying in the demat account. So there has to be zero balance. Then if you want to transfer it to any other account, so you need to open a fresh account, give a closure request to your old DP, and all the securities will be transferred to your new account without any charges to you if it is opened in the same name and same PAN. I'm so sorry. Consolidated account statement. So this is the statement that is provided to you for viewing your holdings, your transactions, and it actually gives a complete view of your portfolio. So if you are having mutual funds, debentures, bonds, equity, everything will appear in one single statement. If you're not getting this cash, even if you are doing transaction monthly, then the process is that visit our website nsdlcash.nsdl.com and start getting your cash regularly. There are certain electronic services that NSDL is providing for the ease of the clients, that they should not visit the office of the DP regularly. They can sit at their home and do the transactions. For that, there is the process called Speedy. For viewing your in holdings and transaction statements, you can use your facility ideas. You just need to register for ideas. Even you can download the cash statement from that. And mobile application is also available. So ideas and mobile app are actually free of cost. You can just simply register yourself and start using these facilities. E-voting is also another facility. E-voting is the process wherein, as a shareholder, you have the right to participate in the decision-making process of the company. So whenever company is conducting its AGM or its postal ballots, they allow you to cast your votes. So this is the process. We have designed a website called evoting.nsdl.com, and even through mobile app and ideas facility, there is a link. You can simply go to that link and cast your vote whenever there is a running AGM. Also, companies are conducting their virtual meetings and live streaming, so that also you can view. As a prudent investor, you need to keep certain things in your mind. Always take care of these particular points which I'm going to tell you. So keep record of all the documents signed, account statements, contract notes. Change your password of online account frequently. Never share your OTP and PIN. Read your SMS, emails, letters, statements properly, because these are sent to keep you updated. Accept the delivery instruction slip only if the serial number is pre-printed and client ID is pre-stamped. What is this delivery instruction slip? It is just like a checkbook. So it's a slip which you require when you want to transfer your securities from one account to another, and you have to keep it in the safe custody like you're keeping your checkbook. If there is any change in your personal information, inform your DP. Always mention your mobile number and email ID in your account opening form. Our publications are available on our website nsdl.co.in, and schedule of awareness program is available on our website. Today, I am going to share a link also at the end of this meeting in the chat box. We require your feedback for this event. Kindly fill that simple form. Also, there is one monthly newsletter that NSDL is providing to you in Hindi and English language. You can visit our website today itself, nsdl.co.in. In the education sector, you just need to put your email ID and contact number. You will start getting this financial kaleidoscope every month. It contains a lot of good articles on the capital market, so it will be quite educative for you. So you can subscribe to that. These are important helpline numbers. We request you to just take a note of it. In case you want to touch base NSDL or SEBI, you can contact on these numbers and email IDs. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I hope this session was knowledgeable and you have gained some new information from this. If you have any queries, any doubts, you're free to ask me at the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful session. I would request the other member to kindly join us. Probably, I think the other person has not able to join Nanu, ma'am, as of now. Himani, ma'am. So if you can please help us in.
Yeah.
Can you help us, please?
Yeah, Miss Karishma is just joining in 1 minute, so we'll just wait. So she will be the next presenter.
Okay, okay. Till then, Dr. Shalini ma'am,
Right,
you may ask the question
yeah.
that is in the chat box.
Yeah, please.
Right. So we have some questions, which students have asked on your session, ma'am. Very layman questions, like some of the students have asked that how many sectors, are there to invest in the stock market? Like what are those main areas where we should invest majorly? So what are
Uh,
those sectors?
See, actually, sectors as in there is equity, there are bonds, there are debentures, there are different instruments you can say. It's not sectors, it's basically instruments that you can invest. So if you are a student and you are just a beginner, so I would suggest you can start with mutual fund. Mutual fund, you can just form some SIPs monthly, some investment plans you can take wherein you from your account some amount gets deducted every month automatically. So that as a beginner you can start with that, and later you can just start studying the market. So you can start studying some good chip stocks, maybe infrastructure stocks or maybe banks. So there you can just make an analysis that how these stocks are performing, and then you can make a proper studied investment. And you can approach brokers also. There are registered brokers who are actually providing this portfolio management services, so they can guide you better. You can take that services and start investment in the capital market.
Right. Wonderful, ma'am. Absolutely correct that yes, we should start with mutual funds because it has less risk, and
Yeah,
obviously the return is also less, but the risk is also comparatively less.
it's
Yes,
true.
wonderful, ma'am. One more question. One student has asked that if the worst case scenario occurs
Hmm.
and I have unforeseen expenses and
Hmm.
all my money is stuck in the share market,
Hmm.
what is my safety net?
Okay. So, like I told you, mutual fund is quite safe and it's quite easy to redeem also. When you buy mutual funds on your own, the process of redemption is also very simple. So, at the time of emergency, you can withdraw that money. For stocks, of course, you need to see at what amount you had made that investment, and when you want to withdraw, is that the amount you're getting back? So of course, it's a little bit risky, but again, the selling process is also very simple and very less. It involves very less time. So it all depends. So mutual fund, of course, is the best way through which you can, at the time of emergency, you can take out the money, and it is generally the performance is generally fine unless the market is very low.
Right. So I think mutual fund is always a better option than shares and investing into bonds and any other security, right? We have one more question, ma'am. That is it safe to invest in unlisted stocks as a beginner? One student has asked that is it safe to invest in an unlisted stock as a
So
beginner?
you, as an investor, you cannot invest in unlisted shares because they are not available for the investors. They are actually for the directors, for the promoters only, and for a limited purpose like shareholders who are generally to whom they actually allow to make the investment. So it is not available for the public.
Okay. Okay. So one student have asked about the stop loss, ma'am. That what like if we use a stop loss in case of investments, how does it effective and to what extent it is useful to us? And what
Actually,
is the what actually stop loss is about? Some of the students want to know that also.
okay. So that query actually will be handled by the SEBI officials or by the stock exchange official. So we just need to wait for this query. So any query related to DMAT or the session which I've covered, you're most welcome to ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, ma'am, one more question is there, which I think this can be apt to your
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah.
That's one student has asked that how to invest or apply for an IPO online.
Okay. So there are platforms which the banks have made. So the process is very simple. You just need to, if you have, you first basic requirement is that you need to open a demat account, because right now in any IPO the credit is directly coming in the demat account. So just open a demat account when you're putting the application in, through platform, different platforms. Like even I have seen that banks are also providing. So through that platform, you have to just submit your in the application online, put your DMAT ID and client ID in that, and whenever there is any allotment, that will directly come to your DMAT account.
So, how do we get this demat ID and client ID? This is what is one
So
query.
that's, you need to open a DMAT account. So you can approach any registered broker. So on our website, the list of all the DPs is provided. Our website is www.nsdl.co.in. There, the list of the DPs is provided. You can visit, see where you want to open. So there are banks also, there are broker also, and there are custodians also. So there are different entities where you can open the DMAT account. So if you're opening with a bank, so in a bank, like you have all the three facilities: banking facility, broking facility, as well as DMAT facility. And if you're going to any broker, for example, Globe Capital is there, Master Capital is there in Delhi, I'm just telling, and in Noida, Religare is there. So they are providing two facilities: opening of a DMAT account and opening of a trading account. So when you open DMAT account by just fulfilling your KYC requirements, like your they check your identity, their address, and your personally they meet you, or they provide any online platform through which you can open account. So you get a DMAT ID that is called a client ID, and DP ID is the ID allotted to the DP, that particular broker. So these information they provide you when you open an account through email or through physical form. So that you need to fill in the IPO application.
Right. So, in your suggestion, which is a better option, ma'am? Going for a broker one or going to any bank and getting a demat account
Ma'am,
opened?
both are safe. Just see that they are registered with any depository like NSDL or CDSL. So when you visit our website, you will get the list. You can open anywhere as per your convenience.
Any other question, any other student want to ask? You can please write in the chat box if you want to ask any question and we can take those questions.
So, ma'am, can you see Karishma ma'am has joined or not?
Karishma ma'am, I cannot see her in the,
Okay, let me just make a call to her. Sorry.
please. So all those students who want to ask questions can write their questions in the chat box so that we can take it over with the next panelist also uh, over the session. In the meantime, we are waiting for the next person to join.
Yeah, ma'am, she's there. So you can welcome her, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, Rotash, sir, Karishma ma'am has already joined, so I would request you to kindly read her profile.
Okay. Welcome, Miss Karishma Makkar. Let me read her profile, please. Miss Karishma Makkar is assistant manager at Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India, Delhi. By profession, she is company secretary and having more than 5 years of experience in secretarial and regulatory compliances. Welcome, ma'am. Over to ma'am.
Uh, Good morning, Karishma ma'am. Can you hear us? I think Karishma ma'am is not, we cannot hear her.
Uh,
Karishma ma'am,
I
can you
guess he
hear
has some
us?
technical connectivity issues.
uh,
Himani ma'am,
Lalit sir, please help out.
सर मैम का ऑडियो तो इनेबल्ड है. मैम के पास सारे राइट्स हैं.
Himani ma'am can get in touch with her and just ask.
मैम सर एक बार करिश्मा मैम को बोलिए लीव करके दोबारा ज्वाइन करेंगे.
हाँ, maybe. Himani madam, can you hear us?
Karishma ma'am,
We'll go through Himani madam because she has a contact. No?
Yeah, I've asked her to rejoin. So
Yeah.
we'll just wait.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
In between, participants are requested to prepare their question and drop them in the chat box. That may be asked in between or later on.
Karishma ma'am, can you hear us? I think still she is facing some problem regarding she cannot hear us, I suppose. In the meantime, if the other ma'am can join, probably.
Madam, she will join us by 11.
Okay, fine.
By the time Himani madam can continue, there are questions from the students. So she can just ask student to.
Right. Himani ma'am, are you there or you have?
She
Can
is
you
there.
hear us?
Hello.
Ma'am, can you
Yeah,
hear us?
is there any option for any link also if you can share me on WhatsApp and she can join through that link? Because I think she has unmuted herself, but we cannot hear her.
Madam, please ask her. Please join
Hmm.
through the panelist link. Maybe she is joining. She has joined from the the earlier link which she has received. She must have received panelist link today.
But we can see her as a panelist only, na?
Yes, she is there.
अटेंडी से ज्वाइन किया था, मैंने प्रमोट किया मैम उनको। मैम को बोलिए कि मेल एमआईटी यूनिवर्सिटी से एक मेल आया होगा।
आपको एक एमएटी से मेल आया होगा करिश्मा।
Kindly check in the junk mail and the spam mail also, please.
Sir, actually, she's not able to unmute herself. Do you want to give her any rights?
मैम को ऑलरेडी राइट्स है मैम, शी इज इन पैनल मैम।
I don't know what is the problem.
मैम को बोलिए एक बार लीव करेंगे, क्रॉस बटन है रेड कलर का, उससे लीव करके दोबारा ज्वाइन करेंगे।
हाँ, she has done that.
I think Himani ma'am, she has to connect with the computer audio, whatever laptop she is using. She has to connect it with the audio, the system audio also. Then only she'll be able to hear us and she can speak.
Actually, she can hear us, but whenever she's speaking, we are not hearing her voice.
I think that is the reason why, because she has to connect with the audio system in the inner system, laptop or the computer, whatever she's using, probably. I think that can be one reason.
आप मुझे नंबर दे दीजिए, मैं बात कर लेता हूँ मैम से।
So the her number is 99530. Are you writing?
Yes, I'm 99530
21146.
21146.
Yeah.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
In the meantime, Himani ma'am, if you want to
Yeah.
take over the session, if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
discuss something more.
So I just got one question. Should I invest in upcoming IPOs? So yes, you can invest in upcoming IPOs. So you just need to see which IPO is coming, which will be, performing well. And for example, LIC IPO is going to come, but you need to be a policy holder for that purpose. So just see if you are having any policy in your name or in your family's name in your home, then you can open a demat account and apply for this IPO, because there is a reservation for the policy holders, around 10% reservation for the policy holders, and it will come as 10% discount also. So it will be helpful for you if you get the allotment.
Ma'am, I would request if you
Himani
can
ma'am,
please
I have
open
a
your
question.
video. If you can please open your video, ma'am. Himani ma'am.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Himani ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
My personal query that what if somebody has occurs loss of so much loss from the current trading session and all. So how to overcome come from the loss? Nowadays you must have seen that census coming down to 1500 points, 1200 points. So is there any idea that somebody can save money?
Sir, actually, this risk is absolutely up to you, because when you're investing in the securities market, there can be
Yeah.
a risk. There can be a risk. So no one can mitigate that risk, because it is not in our control. The valuation it goes up and down. So people earn profit also. People get losses also. So you see, we have to open our mind when we are investing in the capital market. So we should be able to bear that loss also. And whenever you are making investment for a longer term, say for years,
Yeah.
so that generally don't come up with the losses, because you don't see that, you don't keep on tracking every day. And the
Yes.
most risky is the base intraday, if you don't have much knowledge, that
Yes.
might be more risky. So if you're investing as in just like you invest in FDs, like you invest in
Yes.
NPS scheme, so that you know that you're investing for a longer period and you don't track the valuation every day. So that way you should
Yes.
make your mind and make the investment in the capital market also.
Yes. So it's like anybody who is new to this area should not invest all the money. Somebody everyone should find that there may be losses also at the same time, and should not go by somebody's saying that yes you will get lot of money out of this share market. So
Mm.
keeping in mind that yes best way would be to invest in mutual.
Mhm.
Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, sir. True, true. But otherwise, you can invest in equity also. Quite matlab good equities are there. Like one question just came that what is blue chip share? So like I told that there are companies which are financially is very sound and they're operating for many, many years. They are paying good dividends to the investors. They have good earnings. So those companies are called the blue chip companies. So that analysis you can do. There are many sites like Money Control site is there, and there are many other sites also from where you can
Yes.
get a good knowledge about the stocks that you're investing. So if you're investing in those particular stocks, you will definitely earn.
Yes. True.
All right. I have one question, ma'am, Himani ma'am, asked by one of my students, that except for the portfolio diversification, what are the other ways can I minimize my risk when I invest?
uh, I don't think there is any other way. This is the best way actually, because if you are investing something in mutual funds, something in equity, some bonds, so of course that way actually, if you're creating a portfolio with different instruments, then that is best way, because that is how we do. We invest something in like insurance policies, something in FDs, something in NPS. So that's how when you buy different instruments, that's how you are diversifying your portfolio, and then it actually mitigates your risk.
Right. So that means that investing into stocks plus investing into other securities like banking securities, fixed deposits, going for post office schemes, MIS schemes will be a better option.
Yeah,
No other option can be
definitely,
there.
definitely, yes.
Right, absolutely right. One more question is there, that what is the best way to invest in the volatile market?
Uh, Best way as in?
The best way to invest in a volatile market. I mean, if the market is highly volatile, so
Hmm.
how we should invest in a volatile market to, hedge risk, to reduce risk.
So, I mean, I think that this query will be able, like a SEBI official or maybe the stock exchange official will be able to
Okay,
answer this
okay.
better.
Right.
So we'll just keep this for a while.
Okay.
We'll keep this
Uh,
question for Karishma ma'am probably
yeah,
to
Yeah.
So
answer.
now she's able
Ma'am,
to,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And can you just start presenting your presentation? So we'll.
Welcome, Karishma
Karishma,
Makkar
please
ma'am.
can you please open your camera, and we want to see you. Welcome, ma'am. Karishma ma'am, can you hear us? I think she is not muted. She's already muted. She's not unmute herself. Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear us?
Hello, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, very much audible. No.
yes.
Now I can hear you, ma'am. Yes, you're audible. I request you, ma'am, to please open your camera.
Ma'am, we can view your presentation. You can please start now.
Hello.
Karishma ma'am, can you hear us? Are we audible to you?
Hello.
Put your
Hello,
presentation
Karishma ma'am,
up.
can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Now can I hear you? I'm extremely sorry.
Yeah,
There
good
was some
morning.
technical glitch.
It's okay.
Yeah, good morning.
No problem,
Yeah.
ma'am. No problem. Good morning, ma'am. And I
Good
request
morning.
Rohtar sir to kindly introduce Karishma ma'am for all of us.
Welcome, Karishma ma'am. Miss Karishma Makkar is Assistant Manager at Metropolitan Stock Exchange of India, Delhi. By profession, she is Company Secretary and has more than 5 years of experience in secretarial and regulatory compliances. Ma'am, Karishma Makkar, the session is over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm extremely sorry for all the participants and all the coordinator program for such technical glitch. I'm extremely sorry from the bottom.
No issues, no issues.
Now I would like to now I would like to start my presentation. I would like to start my presentation with one quote, which is very famous of Warren Buffett. That is, don't invest in something that you don't understand. This is very important in today's scenario because sometime we have seen we are doing some transaction and we are not aware about such transaction. We are not very much no, we don't have such knowledge and we invest in somewhere. As today's our topic is on introduction of securities market. So basically, this is very important in securities market. We have to understand the things very deeply, and then we can go for it. So let's start with a basic introduction of what is capital market. Now, capital market and what is market? It is basically a market where the company raises financial resources through issue of shares and debentures. Here the market is basically the basic is market of a companies and the shareholders. Here the shareholder who subscribe to the shares of a company becomes the owners of the company, and such shares can be traded in a market and serve as an investment vehicle for the investors. Here the market is divided into two parts. One is primary market and another one is secondary market. It is basically different products are available in this market. It can be a shares, bonds, debentures, mutual funds, derivatives, or AIF. AIF, it can be an alternative investment fund. Now it's time to understand what is primary market and what is secondary market. Primary market is that market where the company sells stocks to the public for the very first time. Here and this can be done only through IPO, and company brings an IPO, that is initial public offer, for the investors. The basic objective behind to raise money by the company is basically to diversification or the expansion of their business prospect. Here the company offer shares to the public for the very first time, and it can be offered through offer for sale, like promoters or the existing shareholders of a company sell shares to the investors, prospective or new investors. And it can be a fresh issue of securities. Company also bring fresh issue of security or a combination of both, like offer for sale and as well as of fresh issue of securities. Next is the secondary market. Secondary market is basically that market where the investors and the traders who trading in the market buy and sell stocks to the each other. In secondary market, the company does not participate in this transaction. The main major role is of buyers and traders who trade their securities. So this was a basic fundamental of what is market and what are the types of market. Now the procedure is how to apply for IPO. What is IPO and how to apply for IPO? IPO is basically a process by which a company become publicly listed and traded a company by offering shares to the public for the very first time. Here the investors need not part with the application money immediately. In case of IPO, investors can apply through IPO, but the investors does not need to part your money with application money immediately. Rather, they can use the service of ASBA. What is ASBA? As its name suggests, application supported by block amount. Here the investors can earmark their money, required application money, in their saving bank account, and the bank will debit your amount after allotment of shares. If you successfully get the allotment of shares, then your bidding amount, your full bid amount will be blocked, will be debited from your saving bank account. And for retail and individual investors, they can apply up to 2 lakh rupees. We can apply through IPO by online mode and as well as offline mode. Online mode we can apply through ASBA, and for offline mode we can fill our application form, and submit to the broker. Now next is a margin money. What is margin money? Basically, margin money is required to be placed with a stockbroker before placing an order. Before punching an order, we have to require a margin has to be kept with the broker. So margin, how we can provide a margin? Margin can be provided in the form of cash, securities, or a combination. It can be form of FD, bank guarantee, mutual fund units, government securities, and treasury bills. And security can be provided in the form of margin only by way of pledging the securities to the stockbroker. Here, we do not need to pledge your securities to your any officials of your broker. We have to pledge your securities, and it also not required to transfer your securities. We only require to keep the margin, appropriate amount of margin. We can pledge the securities to your broker. But in case of margin is not required, investor is exempted for margin if securities are transferred through early pay-in mode. If we early pay-in mode, then there is no such requirement of margin money. And SEBI has also made some changes in margin and trading. What is that? Basically, for the sake of interest of the market and to bring more stability in the market, SEBI has mandated 100% peak margin should be collected in advance, because for the sake of market interest and for the interest of investors, it was really required. So SEBI comes with a welcome change, and its mandate 100% peak margin that should be collected in advance. Now margin is required for both cash and as well as of F&O segment, that is future and option segment. And also required upfront margin need to be collected by your broker. And margin should be collected for intraday trade as well. Margin is also required for both buyers and sellers. Even if you have to sell your securities, then still margin is required to be placed before your broker. Now mode of payment. We always say कि don't make payment in cash, because if we don't have any such record, then there would be a problem. So always ensure that payment should never be in cash. You can make payment through different modes, like a account paycheck, demand draft, or directly pay your bank account of the counterparty through electronic fund transfer. And delivery of securities is also delivered in your demat account to be made directly from your beneficiary account of a client. Now, what is contract note? This is also something very important. Contract note is basically an evidence of a trade done by your broker. If your broker has run some transaction, then you will also receive a contract note for the trade done. Now, what is contract note and what information is required to be mentioned in contract note? Contract note is basically a record of any transaction, and also a confirmation of a trade done. You can also keep it as an evidence. If something unauthorized trade has been done by your broker, then you can immediately question your broker and also take an appropriate action against them. So this is also very important and important evidence, which is for the record of any transaction done. Now it is a legal document as well, and which contain details of transaction, such as it can be a securities bought and sold, at what time you have bought and sold securities, or trade you have done, traded price, at what trade price you did your transaction, brokerage amount, how much brokerage has been charged by your broker. So it is a proper complete record of your any transaction done by you, and it is also a confirmation of trade done. And in case of any discrepancy, you can also contact your broker immediately. Now, how to receive a contract note? Contract note will be received by your contract note, also is received from your registered stockbroker, and within 24 hours of the trade done or the trade execution by you. And you can also receive a physical copy of a contract note if you request from your broker. And quarterly statement of funds and securities. Quarterly statement of funds and securities. Whenever the transaction has been made, so quarterly statement is also provided by your broker of the basically outstanding of your funds and securities. Now investment classes. We have a different types of investments, and it can be a fixed deposits, bonds, gold, stock, mutual funds, public provident fund, exchange traded funds, national pension scheme, real estate. We can make investment in different asset classes, and it totally depend upon the investor to investor. If you are a risk appetite, and if you have a different investment goals, you can identify your investment goals and objectives. On that basis, you can invest in that fund. If you are very highly risk if you have a highly risk appetite, matlab you can take a higher amount of risk, then you can go for equity. And if you have a long term objective, then you also go for equity, something like that. So it's depend upon the investors to investors. is that is always say that before investing in securities market, you need to understand and identify your investment goals. What is your investment goals? How long you can invest your money, and what is the objective? Every investment always need a objective. Always do investment for some specific objectives. And what is your risk appetite? How much you can take a risk? So every investment decision should reflect your needs and your requirements. Once you have decided your goals, your risk appetite, then decide the amount, how much amount you can invest, and time period over which you want to invest. On that basis, you can take your appropriate asset class in which you will be fit into your criteria. Now next is thumb rule of investment. Now what is thumb rule of investment? How much money, basically this tells us about the how much time will take place to double your money. मतलब कितना टाइम आपको लगेगा आपकी मनी को डबल होने में, एंड हाउ इट हेल्प्स टू डबल योर मनी, कैसे वो आपकी हेल्प करेगा मनी को डबल होने में. बेसिकली इट इज अ सिंपल फॉर्मूला, जस्ट डिवाइड 72 by the interest rate or the rate of return. It will tells you about the time for the investment to double. For example, likewise, if you have an amount of rupees 1000 and you invested at a 9% rate of interest, your money will get double in 8 years, because it simply says about the 72 divided by rate of interest. Now next is what is mutual fund. What is mutual fund? Mutual fund is basically a trust that pools the saving of number of investors who share a common financial goal. Um, Mutual fund is also very important, is very prominent. Also, students are taking very much interest in this mutual funds because it is very renowned and everyone know about this. Mutual funds is basically investors can make a lump sum investment or periodic investment of smaller amount. The investors who make the who invest their amount, and they will get a units on that basis, because the investor contribution in mutual funds are denoted in units, and the value of that units NAV, that is reflect your current value of the portfolio, and income earned through this investment or the capital appreciation are shared among the investors. Now, why mutual fund is very important? Mutual fund is very important because they have a very disadvantage. Different types of investment. It's a diversification. As a fund manager, diversify the portfolio. Always diversify the portfolio. They never invest your whole money in a one stock or one company. They always diversify. So the risk will also get reduced at somehow. And it is also a convenience. It's very really convenience, because you have to deposit your amount to your fund manager, and they will invest your amount on the basis of the objective, but they have already decided or mentioned in their offer document, something like that. And return potential, you will also get a good amount of return. Flexibility and liquidity is also there. You can exit the scheme at the you can exit from the scheme if there is no such lock-in period or something like that. So also flexibility and liquidity is there. Tax advantage, basically ELSA scheme. ELSA scheme is basically a equity linked savings scheme. This is a mutual fund investment scheme that helps you tax your income tax. You can save your income tax up to rupees 1.5 lakh in a specific security and claim it as a deduction from your taxable income. So but in here it is also requires a lock-in period is here. So you have to invest at least 3 years. Whether 3 years lock-in period is there, so you cannot exit from the such scheme after investing that amount. And it is a professional, well qualified person who are the fund managers who invest your money in a different schemes. In a classification of mutual funds into 5 schemes, these are different schemes has been mutual funds, equity schemes, debt schemes, hybrid schemes, solution oriented scheme, and other schemes. Which it can be a other scheme, it can be a combination of one or many schemes. Now, this is also something very important, claiming unclaimed shares and dividends. When the all the dividends and shares which remain unpaid or unclaimed for 7 consecutive years are transferred by your company to the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, because they do not claim, investors do not claim, they don't aware about their dividends and shares. Sometimes it really, we have seen कि investors do not aware because they are not getting the proper email ID. They do not register their email IDs with your brokers and your exchanges. So that's why all the dividend shares which remain unpaid for 7 consecutive years get transferred to the IPF authority. What is IPF authority? IPF authority is basically a statutory body constituted under the provision of Companies Act 2013. Investor or its representative need to submit claim to the IPF authority to receive unpaid dividend or unclaimed shares. You may also find the details of unclaimed shares and dividends on the website of your concerned company or at the IPF website. Now the question is how to claim unclaimed shares and dividends. If you do not claim your shares and dividends, now how you can claim after 7 consecutive years? But you have to register on ipfgov.in, and you need to submit your claim form in IPF 5 online. You also required to submit your scanned images and documents, all the relevant documents, and submit your form online. Take the printout of your form and also submit with original documents to your nodal officer of the company at the registered office. Company will verify at their end and also e-verify the claim online. If accepted, refunds will be transferred to your Aadhaar linked bank account of the claimant through electronic transfer or the demat account of a claimant. If there is a shares, then it would transfer in your demat account. But if the dividend amount, then it will be electronically transferred to your Aadhaar linked bank account only. Now, investor grievance redressal. If because every transaction of something happened, then the investor grievance also plays an important role. If investor has any dispute with your broker or listed entity or SEBI registered intermediary, then you can immediately question to the concerned entity about any transaction that you don't understand or you do not authorize your trading member. You first have to question your concerned entity. But if you do not get a satisfactory reply or you are not satisfied with it, then you can raise a complaint in writing to your trading member and retain copies of all such related correspondence done with your trading member. But still, if your complaint has not been addressed or redressed by your broker or your trading member, you can file a complaint with the stock exchange. In case you do not receive any satisfactory response or redressal of your grievance from stock exchange as well, you may file your complaint on SEBI Sports Portal. You can file a complaint through various modes. You can file through online portal of the exchange. You can mail to us. You can physical letter at any investor service center. And investor service center details you will be available at exchange website. You can also complain through investor at nearest investor service center. And in case your complaint has not been resolved still, you can also go for a third step, that is investor grievance resolution panel. But if you are still not satisfied or you are grieved by a resolution given by your IGRP, then you can take up your matter via arbitration. Arbitration is basically a quasi-judicial mechanism. Now, this is a advisory for our investors. Investments are subject to market risk. Research properly. We have to read all the necessary documents before investing. This is really very important because we do not need to only sign such document and submit to your broker. If your broker has said, okay, this is a mandatory document, you have to submit. You have to understand what is it, and you have to keep a copies of all such signed documents at your place so that if in future if something happens, then you can show to your concerned entities. So always keep a record at your place and deal with the government recognized intermediaries only. Always try to do such transaction with a SEBI registered only and government recognized intermediaries only. Never afraid to invest and start invest earlier. We do not need to afraid. We always have to invest. But the thing is, we have to understand the things and do invest then only. Do proper due diligence and then go for it. Don't invest in Ponzi schemes or fraud companies. Research properly and don't panic in the bearish market. We have seen investors panic in the bearish market. They withdraw their whole fund at the bearish market. So don't do that because it is your hard-earned money. So in the bearish, because this is a market, we have seen ups and downs. So If you have rely on that company, then they will go up. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Invest separately for all your financial goals. Never invest on rumors. Do not do transaction in cash. Don't invest on SMS or email messages because no one can rely on that messages or email messages. Never give up any kind of IDs and password to any others. In case of any kind of wrong transaction, please contact your appropriate regulatory and log your complaint. This is a contract details, which is you can register your complaint at our exchange investor services center, that is investor complaints at msci.in and isc.delhi at msci.in. If you have any complaint, you can mail to us, or you can also submit a letter to our exchange investor service center. We will be happy to help you. And you can also download a common booklet, which is also available on our Google Drive. So you can download, you can copy the link if you want, then you can download. And this is all from my side. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful session. We have so many questions for you
Yeah,
from our
definitely.
students. But before, I would request Ms. Nanu Kaur, ma'am, to kindly join us and share her views, and then we will go with the question answer session. So if Nanu
Definitely.
Kaur, ma'am, can, yeah. So Nanu Kaur, ma'am, if you can please share your screen and you can discuss your slides with us, presentation. If you can share your presentation with us.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Give
ma'am.
me a minute to share my presentation. I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, okay. So I would give you a brief view on what SEBI is doing in the securities market, how SEBI is regulating securities market. So first of all, I'll tell you what is the role of SEBI in this financial market. So there are various regulators in this financial market. So SEBI is for securities markets, and RBI is for the banking sector, and PFRDA is for insurance sector, pension sector, and IRDA is for the insurance sector. So what SEBI is regulating, how SEBI is regulating, we have a mandate. We have a threefold objective: protecting investors, regulating market, and the development of the market. So to fulfill these three objectives, SEBI is working upon in this market. To fulfill these three objectives, how SEBI is performing the role? SEBI is performing the role as a legislative. So we frame regulations, guidelines, circulars day to day. There are some changes. And then executive functions, where SEBI is undertaking inspection in the securities market by doing inspection of stock brokers, stock exchanges, depository participants. So all the participants, all the market infrastructure institutions, whosoever is registered with SEBI is being regulated, is being supervised by SEBI time to time. We undertake inspections. Some orders are passed under judiciary function. So if some violations are found, some wrongdoings are found, if some broker is doing something wrong, so SEBI undertakes a judiciary function where SEBI passes various type of orders, impose penalties, etc. This is structured. So we have on depository participant depository NSDL and one exchange MSEI. So how this structure is framed? So SEBI on the top is regulating the following entities: stock exchanges, depositories, clearing corporations, and the companies. Companies are which companies? Whosoever is listed on the stock exchanges. So only these companies are being regulated by SEBI. So under stock exchanges, brokers are there. Under depository participants are there. Sometimes, generally on these days, one entity is performing the role of broker as well as the depository participant also, but they have to take separate registration with SEBI under different segments. So the companies are assisted by various type of intermediaries. For example, there are merchant bankers, there are bankers to an issue, there are registered or transfer agents. So all these entities are also regulated by SEBI. They have to take registration number from SEBI. So SEBI basically is dealing with issuance of shares, units, and other securities, trading and transfer of shares, dividend payments, takeovers, and the listed companies are also being regulated by SEBI. So what are the major functions? We are regulating and registering market participants, for example, stock exchanges, stock brokers, etc. SEBI tries to prohibit fraudulent and unfair trade practices like price manipulation, insider trading, etc. SEBI regulates issuance of shares issued to public where more than 200 persons are involved. SEBI is regulating substantial acquisition of shares and takeover of companies, and SEBI is undertaking various measures to protect the investors and promote financial literacy and financial awareness. Then, what is the legal framework? What are the major acts where SEBI is working upon? Where SEBI is working under? The main act is SEBI Act, Securities and Exchange Board of India Act. Then Securities Contract Regulation Act. This is for the stock exchanges basically. For the depositories, there is Depositories Act 1996. For the companies, there is Companies Act 2013. And then there are various rules, regulations, guidelines, circulars, bylaws, which are made and issued under the aforementioned acts. Then the various enforcement powers which are given to SEBI. SEBI can issue directions against any broker, any entity, any company. SEBI under adjudication proceedings, initiate adjudication proceedings where monetary penalties are imposed. SEBI can also initiate inquiry proceedings against any wrongdoer or against any wrong entity. And then there are prosecution cases which are also launched by SEBI. Then the main act for SEBI is the amendment in Securities Law Amendment Act 2014, where concept of deemed CIs was introduced. So what is deemed CIs? Where the company is raising money from the people and the amount is more than 100 crore or more. Then this is called deemed CIs, and these are inspected by then SEBI. And in this law, the major 2014 amendment, SEBI got the power to seek information, including call data records from any entity. Then the SEBI has to share information with other authorities also. SEBI got the power of search and seizure. So sometimes where penalties are imposed by SEBI and it is not being recovered from any entity, in such cases, SEBI can crack down, got the power of search and seizure. The power of recovery, attachment, and arrest. So SEBI can also recover the money. SEBI can attach the assets of the company and can undertake arrest of the entity. So disgorgement power is also given. What is disgorgement power? If the company has wrongfully raised money from the investor, so sometimes SEBI can issue directions to the entity to give the money collected by the entity and give it back to the investor. Then there are consent and settlement proceedings which are also there. And then we have law prosecution where special courts and deemed public prosecutors are appointed. So this is the slide which the purpose of presentation giving is that we should not depend our investment decision on somebody else. We can misunderstand some information by listening sometimes this Excel can be the cell or whatever SMS sometimes has received, sometimes wrong information is given in talking to the investor. So we should depend on our understanding and our knowledge. So these do's and don'ts have already been covered in this presentation. So now I'll move it to the scores. What is the scores? How SEBI has launched this online mechanism? So SEBI has its platform to launch a complaint. If complainant is not satisfied with any of the sources available, then he can come to SEBI and can launch a complaint on scores. It is an online mechanism. He can see the complaint online He can track the status online and he can put his remarks online. So these are the slides showing how complaints can be lodged. We have a toll-free number 1800-266-7575 where any query can be raised, any question can be asked, any status of the company can be checked. So these are the information where you can check on toll-free number or any of the SEBI links. These are links given on here. You can go to www.sebi.gov.in. You can check upon investor.sebi.gov.in. This is a financial education website. And then www.scores.gov.in. Then ask SEBI at SEBI. Here you can make any query or make any suggestion. So recently, SEBI has also launched its investor education website that is called, that are not included in this presentation. You can note upon. This is SARTHI, SAA, and R is in the form of a rupee and THI. This is a very good website for the students, and it has been very recently launched. One week before only SEBI has launched, so you can make upon note upon. So now I am ending my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nanu ma'am. It was wonderful, short and crisp presentation and information about what SEBI is doing and what are the basic functions of SEBI over here. So we have the question answer session now, and I request all the panelists to please open the cameras so that we can ask questions from the respective person. You can please, if it is possible for you all to open your cameras, I would request all of you to open the camera. Karishma ma'am, Nanu ma'am, and Himani ma'am.
I'm extremely sorry, ma'am. I can't do. There's some issue in my camera. So
Okay, no problem. No problem. Not an issue. So the first question which I have with you only, Karishma ma'am. One of the students
Yes,
has
ma'am.
asked this question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that you have mentioned this rule of 72 in your presentation.
Yes,
That if you have to double your money, so you can divide the number by 72, the interest rate. So I would request the question is that why we use 72 only as a figure to double the money? Is there any specific reason for that? Why not any other number?
Ma'am, basically this is a formula which is derived. It is 72 divided by rate of interest, then you will get a amount. How much time will we take to double your amount? This is basically a formula.
Yeah. Okay, so there is no specific reason why it has been done, but this is just a formula which has been
Yes,
derived from it.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, another question which is there for all the panelists, anyone can answer, whosoever finds comfortable, that what is the best way to invest in a volatile market? I was asking this question with Himani ma'am, so she left it to the rest of the speakers. If anyone can tell me that what is the best way to invest in the volatile market?
Well, ma'am, see, basically, this is a volatile market. Yes, we have seen market is volatile, sometimes volatile or sometimes not. But if you rely on company, it's depend upon the company to company. If you rely on a company, you are very much sure about this company, company's promoters and company's promoters background and the company's business, company industry, which industry companies belongs, then you can do. There is no such harm. Okay, if you rely on company, but if you are not very much sure about that company will go in future or not, company's business prospect, or company is dealing in any such kind of products which is not allowed by government, you can say that is prohibited by the government, something like that. So always be sure about the industry or in which business or which company is doing, and what about the promoters. So you can go for it if you are relying on company. It's depend upon the company to company.
So basically, goodwill is something which matters a lot. If you talk
Yeah.
about the market value or the goodwill of the company, which actually matters when you are investing into shares. This is what you want to say, ma'am.
Yes, you can say.
Great answer. We have one more question from our student. Very interesting question he has asked, and he's asking that can I become a millionaire by investing in stocks?
Yeah, it's really a very good question. Yeah, why not? Why not? Billionaire can be become. Why not? There is no such harm. If you really have willing to do something, then definitely no one can stop you.
So what is
Nanu,
the percentage of becoming a millionaire and how much risk is there associated to it?
risk would be very high. Definitely would be very high. High risk will give you a high potential amount of return. It's depend upon the investors to investment, how much they can take. And Nanu ma'am would like to add something?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. A persons have already become a millionaire actually from this market only, because this is the market where the returns can be gained. But this is a volatile market also, so we have to be a patient person who has started very early, or they have also earned. So it depends what time we are entering into, what risk taking capacity we have. Generally rich persons are doing trading in this market. Why? Because they have a good risk taking capacity. So it depends on background, it depends on what time you are entering, and otherwise the professionals are always earning in this market. So we have to be very patient, we have to be very alert in this market. And generally this rumors have to be avoided, and actually the person who have avoided rumors can play safely in this market. So it is a market mechanism, so anything can happen. Luck factors are also there.
Exactly. Yeah, so luck is also one thing which
Yes,
is always, that is why we call it a speculation, right?
yes,
That
speculation, yes.
there's always a mixture of
Generally,
luck
big
and,
traders, big traders
analysis.
earn more. Big traders, rich persons are more because they have a good risk-taking capacity. So they can take a risk and they can bear the losses actually sometimes. That losses are also
Great.
very high. If earnings are high, then losses are also very high.
Great. Ma'am, one more question, which one of the student has asked. I find it a very sensible question, that is investing in small caps more profitable than the blue chip companies? Because
Why?
normally, like,
Because the return cycle is very long in small caps. The script which has started moving from 10 rupees or 22, they have a good cycle. So because of that, they have a very great, very good this profit earning rate. It can be that, but
small
it is
capital,
not generally
small
that
capital.
small caps. I mean
Yeah,
small scripts. So they
yeah.
are initially they are very of small amount, so they have a good long way to go. So that's why they may earn more.
Okay, and what about the blue chip companies? Why we don't prefer investing into them? Is there any other specific, because they're
That is
already
not,
having a goodwill?
yes, they are already having a goodwill, and it is not that they are not moving ahead. They are always moving ahead. But because they want the minimum investment amount is very high. So one share or two share, if you are buying, that is also very high amount. So
Yeah,
the normal investor
exactly.
cannot enter into this very easily.
Right, right. Great. I think wonderful answers, ma'am. One question is, which one student has asked from the school, I think, that how to find undervalued stocks? How
Yes,
can we find the
undervalued.
undervalued?
Yes, undervalued are there are many stocks which are actually undervalued. Sometimes the market is not compatible for some companies as of now, as we have seen that the mask and the sanitizers, all these for pesticides, and these have come up in Corona. So it depends what the product is in demand. So sometimes the product is not in demand as of now, but we can foresee their demand in future. So that can be that these are undervalued as of now, but as a learned investor, as a foreseeable investor, as a if we are seeing the competition as a globally, we are seeing something, we are understanding, we are researching a lot, then we can find various undervalued stocks as of now.
Okay. Okay, yes, absolutely. That we can always look for, and we can always search for good stocks which
Yes,
are undervalued, but they are actually performing well.
yes.
Right, right, right. So another question which is there is like, as a fresher, what is a healthy amount of money to start investing in a volatile market?
So this is person to person. This one person cannot copy other person's criteria or other person's desires or some. Every
Right.
person has, yes, different aspects, different expectation, perceptions. So all these factors are involved.
But as a fresher, the student is asking, as a fresher, like if a student wants to invest, so what will be the right amount? Other panelists can also answer if anyone else
Yeah,
want to add on to Nanu ma'am.
right amount. See, the person should have a good earning capability, risk bearing ability. Two things are very important. So a person who have regular income but not a good amount of income can start with mutual fund SIP, because a person cannot invest a good amount in lump sum. So he can start with SIP, systematic investment plan in mutual funds. These are very small amounts. Sometimes students also want to understand this market, so can understand this market by doing SIP, because if we are investing somewhere, then only we will take interest to get to know about that market. So start investing with SIP and then start tracking the market, and you will understand what is market about and how much risk or investment you can undertake in any segment.
Okay, right. So I have too many questions, ma'am, but there is still more questions to come, but I think we have less time. Rutasa will not allow me to ask more questions probably. So I would request to the sir to please take the session and call our HOD for the vote of thanks probably. But wonderful session, ma'am, and great answers you have given. Very much learning to all of us. Probably if we
Thanks to
have some more
all
questions.
also for giving in the students a very good platform, that platform that we have already missed in our lives. Yes,
I'll be
thanks to
sending
all
you
the
these
teachers.
questions.
Yes,
Yeah,
no,
thank
sure.
you, ma'am.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I'll be sending you these questions which are remaining with us for the
Okay,
further
okay,
answers.
no,
Yeah.
no issues.
One question I think Malvika ma'am has asked, Malvika Sagar has asked one question in the chat box. Can we take that, sir, if you allow us?
Sure, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes, just want to take this question that. Ma'am, can you please ask the question if you want? You can ask yourself because it's not visible from my end.
Ma'am, I can see. Is it advisable for
Okay.
a beginner to invest in intraday market? Malvika
Yes, this
Sagar.
is the question. Yeah.
Yes,
Is
it
it
is not
advisable for
advisable.
investors?
No, not advisable for intraday. It is for the traders. Actually, the market is divided into two segments. One is for the investment, and second is for the traders. So the word itself says intraday is for the traders. So we are not traders, we are the investors. So a person should categorize himself whether he wants to invest in this market or who wants to be a trader in this market. So it depends on what choice he is making. So intraday is not good for the investment. As a retail person, we should go for investment. We should have a patient investing. We should not see the buying and selling. We should initially focus on buying only if we are starting investing in this market.
Great. Well said, ma'am. Wonderful answer. Any other question anyone want to ask? If you want to add in the chat box, so we can just take that question quickly.
Madam, there is one more question from Devi Public School. So she wants to know what is split share.
Dr. Lal, you are not properly audible.
Okay, there is one question from Monica Thomas. So she is asking the meaning of this.
Right.
Am I audible?
So now you're audible.
Okay, so there is a question from Monica asking what.
Now you're not audible, sir. The question we can't hear the question.
Blue chip share. She is asking about blue chip. What is blue chip share? Maybe there is a internet.
Dr. Lal,
So
can you put the question in chat box, please? Actually, you are not properly audible. Please put the question in chat box. It may be a technical glitch.
I've just put it here.
Okay.
Can you?
So can you read the question, because I can't read it from my end, probably.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
There was a question from one regarding. So what is it? So otherwise you can continue.
Again, the technical issues there.
I think the question is
Please
about
go
blue
ahead.
chip companies. I think the question is about the blue
Yes.
chip companies, that Monica is asking that
Yes.
how the blue chip companies are able to perform well. So can you just elaborate on the quality and the characteristics of a blue chip company, ma'am? This is what is the question basically.
Actually, blue chip companies are generally the PSUs companies. So they have a well-established market. They have a governance, there's a good governance system, and they have all the necessary financial requirements that are required for a good earning companies. So they are already established companies. They have a good business. They have a good demand. So unless something happens majorly in the market, so these companies are not affected by the small things which is happening. So these are already well established, so they will perform this again. Constant earning they have. So
Right.
they have
That
good
means they are very stable.
financials. Yes, very stable, very financially strong companies.
Right. So thank you very much, ma'am. Any other question anyone want to ask? Or should I hand over the session to Rudar sir now? Okay, sir. So please take over the session. I think there are no more questions. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to say I have shared one feedback link on the chat box. Everyone is requested to please submit your feedback. It is really valuable to us. We would like to hear from you. How was the session? So just copy the link and you can submit the feedback. Thank you so much.
Yes, one more thing I would like to make an announcement, if you allow, please.
Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, there is an Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav going on, and SEBI has, in association with the NISM, they have some quiz and contests also. So you can see our website or the NISM website, and then you can make your students participate in the teams in the quiz and the essay competition. So there's a very nice thing that SEBI has recently launched. So you can see on SEBI website or the NISM website, and you can make your teams of the students, and you can enter or the play in the quiz or the essay contest.
Absolutely, ma'am. Sure. Definitely will do.
Okay,
Shali,
thank
ma'am,
you.
please note down that.
Sure.
Surely.
I have forwarded the information to the DUs and all the universities. If you can share your any email ID, then I'll forward the information to you also.
Surely we will
share,
convey them.
Okay, my
I will
email
share
is nanu@sebi.gov.in. You send your information to my email ID. I pass on the information regarding that email essay and quiz competition.
Sure. We'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you, all the panelists. A wonderful moderation by Dr. Shalini Srivastav from Finance Domain, Ms. Himani Lath for the wonderful introduction to investment market and NSDL repository, Ms. Nanu Kaur for wonderful elaboration on SEBI, Regulatory of Financial Market and SIP, Ms. Karishma Makkar for the wonderful elaboration on capital market and its advisory to investors. Now, I would like to request to Dr. Vikas Garg for the vote of thanks. He is the head ACCF, that is the Amity College of Commerce and Finance. Dr. Garg, are you there?
Yes, sir. I hope I am audible, sir.
Yes, please be on camera.
Yeah, sure,
So
sir.
I would like to request you to take the session.
Sure, sir. So firstly, thank you very much for this session to our very good panelist, Miss Himani Lath, that is the manager of NSDL, Miss Nanu Kaur, AGM SEBI, New Delhi, and Miss Karishma Makkar, assistant manager, MSEI, Delhi. And of course, with this, thanks to Dr. Salini Srivastava for moderation and this arranging the very good webinar by Dr. Rohtas Singh and Dr. Chiranjeev Lal. So thanks to all of you, and the very good topic, that is the practical approach to securities and investment market. And this security and investment market is always close to my heart, because as a commerce college we have, so this is our first target to our student to give a lot of information about the securities and investment market. So overall, the session was very informative and inspiring for the student. We can understand that time was a little short for you, because as a panelist, I can understand that the lot of content you have to deliver, but the time was very short. All the relevant key points were well covered in all aspects. So we sincerely appreciate the effects you left on young minds by your word of wisdom. And from the side of Amity University is so proud and privileged to have the support of speakers like you to help us in the building, molding, and the nurturing the building careers of our student in the correct direction. May we take this opportunity to extend our warmest wishes to you once again, and hope that we will continue to have many more associations together in this time to come. And definitely after pandemic, we want to meet with you in the offline mode. And again, I'm requesting to Dr. Rohtas and Dr. Chiranjeev Lal sir to arrange a session again after the pandemic over in the offline mode, so that our student can be more beneficial to learn a lot by these speakers. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Himani ma'am,
Thank you,
Nanu ma'am.
everyone. Thank you so much. Thank
So
you.
may I request to all the panelists to be on the camera for a while for a group photograph. Dr. Garg, be on camera, please, for the photograph.
Sir, not possible today. Actually, I have some little bit issue in my camera today.
Oh,
That's why.
Okay. Well, thank you so much from Amity University, Greater Noida.